Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So I've got a nice comparison here slash battle. You get my opinions on both of these devices here. So obviously I have the also famous ZTE ZMAX Pro, and then I have the newly announced, fresh on the scene, LeeCo LeePro 3. So we're going to get into a nice comparison here, and I'll tell you how I feel about these phones here. I'm super excited to finally bring this one to you. I've kind of been on the fence about whether or not I want to do this one, because when you're doing reviews on phones, it can get kind of crazy. So this is going to be one that I'm super excited to finally get done for you guys. I'm updating the wallpaper back to, I was testing that wallpaper for something else. So I'm changing the wallpaper back to my favorite wallpaper here, which is this bad boy here. So voila. So let's get into this. So first, I'm going to give you the tech specs on these devices. You've got a 5.5-inch 1080p display on the Pro 3. You've got a 6-inch 1080p display on the ZMAX. For batteries, you have a 4,070 milliamp hour battery. Wow. And you have a 3,400 milliamp hour battery on here. They both have USB Type-C, but the Pro 3 has 2.0. So keep that in mind. The Pro 3 also has the 5 gigahertz band, and the ZMAX has only the 2.4 gigahertz band. You have a 16 megapixel with LED flash, phase detection, autofocus, dual tone LED flash on the Pro 3. And then you have a 13 megapixel, and this is 2.0 aperture, and then you have a 2.2 aperture 20 millimeter camera on here with phase detection, autofocus, and single LED flash. And you've got a 8 megapixel on the front here and a 5 megapixel on the ZMAX. They're both running some kind of skin or UI of their own, but as you can see here, I'm running Pixel Launcher on both, which is what I prefer. Let's see what else I can tell you about these. They both work on LTE in the US. This is an unlocked device, which works on all GSM carriers. And this one right here is subject to becoming unlocked. They sell it on Metro, and they sell it on T-Mobile currently. This phone retails for $399 at its peak cost, and the lowest price that you can grab it at is what I grabbed it at currently at $299. And this phone right here peaks at $180, and you can get this as low as $39. So what's inside? They're both running Android 6.0.1, but there's some differences here. This runs the Snapdragon 617, and this runs the Snapdragon 821. This phone has 2 gigs of RAM, and this phone has 4 gigs of RAM. This has 64 gigs on board, no expandable storage. This has an amazing 32 gigs on board with adaptable storage. So I can take this up to 200 gigs. It's just amazing. So I'm going to get into my regular things of comparison here. And I'm kind of looking away from the camera at times. So if my voice seems like it's fading in and out, that's all it is. Let me grab my list of things here. First, let's go to build quality. This will be an easy one because the build quality on the Pro 3 is amazing. I mean, it's amazing. You take a look at this beautiful body here. It's all metal build, fingerprint reader there. I mean, it's USB Type-C. It's got a dual speaker setup here. No headphone jack, unfortunately, but you do get the USB Type-C headphone jack in the box, and it sounds amazing, guys. If you have this phone and you haven't plugged up those headphones, shout out to Grant in our Tech Talk community. He pointed it out to me because I hadn't plugged them either. It's amazing. So build quality here, all metal frame on here, all metal body. This thing is gorgeous. Very, very sexy phone, and it feels fantastic in the hand. It's a good one. And the ZMAX Pro has its own unique style of build quality. Soft touch back with the fingerprint reader on the back as well. Ridged power button, which is something I really appreciate. The button placement on these is pretty much the same, all on one side. On this one, you do have a headphone jack on top, and then you have USB Type-C down there, and you have a rear-mounted speaker, which, you know, Even though it's rear mounted, it's still pretty good. These both have Dolby, but again, this has a speaker on the bottom and then one out of the earpiece, so it sounds phenomenal. Overall, though, build quality definitely goes to the Pro 3, in my opinion. Obviously, it's a little bit more easier on the hand, and the full metal premium build of this just looks amazing. This is a beautiful device. So build quality and design goes to the Pro 3. Now, screens. So here's something that they both have, which is the same, which is a IPS display. They're both 1080p, and they both are gorgeous. Wow. These are some beautiful, beautiful screens. So I'll tell you this. I prefer a 6-inch display whenever I can get it. And the screen on the ZMAX Pro is one of the most beautiful screens I've ever seen on a 6-inch display. It's that good. The Pro has a good screen. It really does. But, you know, if I can get a 6-inch screen, I'm taking the 6-inch screen over the 5.5-inch display any day. Now, as far as quality goes, they're both really solid. The only difference is I'm getting a bigger display over here, pretty much, in my opinion. So there you have it. I think the display, for my preference, would go to the ZMAX Pro. Like I said before, speakers on here, the ZMAX Pro has Dolby sound, but this has dual speakers, like the HTC 10 setup, and it is not the loudest, but it's better than having just a single backfiring speaker. Cameras on here, let me just give you, and I'll pop these up here. Let me get my famous thing to take a picture of real fast. I'll put those up in the video so you can kind of see for yourself. Try not to make this a long video. Let me make sure HDR is on. There we go. And now you'll see how those come out in the video. Now, how do I feel about the cameras? Well, I think the cameras on the Pro 3, bumpy cam, shaky cam, earthquake. Sorry about that. I'm using my gooseneck today. The camera on the Pro 3, it far exceeds the ZTE's camera. That's just how it goes. My not that it's a 16 megapixel, it shoots way better footage, takes better stills in my opinion than the ZMAX Pro. Cameras and everything goes to definitely the Pro 3. Now, let's jump to software. Software is an easy one. ZMAX Pro. Even though I'm running the Pixel Launcher, the ZMAX Pro is pretty much a stock device. So this launcher over here, this is a completely different setup. Man, this is one of the most scrambled setups I've ever seen. There's no swipe down here. You know, that doesn't exist. You have to use this button over here, which is a recent button that takes you to everything, which is why I use the Pixel Launcher, because their UI without this, it basically just has the icons. And it's really not that bad. It's just their navigation to the recent settings, or, you know, your swipe down. That's the only thing that really makes this phone not the greatest. Having to hit that recent button to get to everything, that's just weird. And I've completed that learning curve now, so I'm good with it. But some people might not like that. So software definitely goes over here to the ZMAX Pro for sure. Let's talk about battery life. Here's where things get a little close. Now, the most battery I've been able to pull down out of the ZMAX Pro is close to 7 hours. It has a 3,400 milliamp hour battery, and that was stretching it. The battery that I get out of this phone, I'm averaging 6 hours. Over here, I'm averaging about 5.5, 5. Over here, I'm averaging 6 hours on every charge. And I'm able to pull down over 8 hours of screen on time with over a day on a single charge. So with battery like that, it's a clear winner that the Pro 3 definitely is the winner. So let's talk about performance. Performance on these is, wow, I don't know. It's kind of an easy one for me. This does have the Snapdragon 617. So I didn't expect it to outperform the Pro 3. But the ZMAX Pro offers so much for the price point, I had to give it a shot at going up against a Snapdragon 821 device. And as I thought, hey, it blew it out of the water as far as benchmarks go. This phone benchmarks at 160K. It's just blazing fast. This is just a fantastic device for performance. I've not had a hiccup, nothing. There's absolutely nothing going on with this phone. Now, in turn, I haven't had any problems with this phone either. It's just that it's not as fast as this phone. It's not as fluid as this phone. Day-to-day services are fantastic, but the overall experience for performance and fluidity definitely goes to, obviously, it's got the higher processor, but this is a contender for a lot of phones. But when put against that Snapdragon 821, wow, it flies. I mean, it really flies. And that's just kind of a no-brainer. Now, here's where the ZTE ZMAX wins price. This peaks out at 180 bucks. 180. It can be unlocked. I've done plenty of videos on that, and it can be used on any carrier. This phone comes unlocked, and the lowest price at the recording of this video is $299. Now, they do have another variant of this phone that I could possibly compare against this phone, and the lowest price for that one is only $150, and it peaks out at $250. And it also has the 600 series in it. It's the S3. It has the 625, I believe, in there, or the 652. I can't remember, but it's the 600 series, and it probably still would outperform this phone. But it's basically the same body, 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs on board, and it has a 600 series processor, which will be probably a little bit more equally matched to this one. But it still, to me, would probably be better than the ZMAX Pro overall. I'd rather give 150 bucks. If I had to pick between the lesser model of this for 180 and the ZMAX for 180, I would probably pick the lesser model of this because it has a higher processor, and it's a little bit more easy on the pocket at times. But that 6-inch screen just keeps calling me. So I don't know. You have to be the judge. Our preferences are all going to be different. But like I said before, the price on this one edges out this phone by a long shot. This phone is double the cost of this one. And that's kind of how it is. Now, let me give you an overall. Overall, if I'm going to recommend one of these phones to someone, it's going to be an easy task. And you're going to say, what? I would definitely recommend this phone over this phone right now. It's because this phone comes factory unlocked. You don't have to do anything to unlock it. It's got the fastest processing power you can get on a phone right now. I mean, it has a Snapdragon 821. So $299 versus $179. For $100 more, you're getting the latest processor. You're getting much better cameras, much better performance. You don't have an SD card slot, but at the same time, you're getting some killer performance. I mean, fantastic performance. All kings have to drop at one point or another. And, this is a situation where I don't favor the ZTE ZMAX Pro over the Pro 3. Maybe if it was the S3, but I think I would probably still like the S3 better than the overall recommendation to someone. Now, does that mean the ZTE ZMAX Pro is done? Of course not. The value of $39 at the lowest price point of getting this is fantastic. But when you start to put phones up against phones, technology just changes, seems like every few days. And, the ZMAX Pro is here to stay. This is my go-to. But I mean, I got a bigger battery over here by 670. It's good. The battery on here is fantastic. The Pro 3's battery is just, it's a beautiful piece of hardware. It's just great, guys. I would highly recommend this phone over, and let me give you a speed test on the fingerprint readers. See? The fingerprint reader is faster on here. I mean, you credit these things to that processing power and the technology. I mean, this is just a beautiful piece of hardware. And this is beautiful too, but I wouldn't go so far as to, because the average consumer won't want to go and buy the phone, unlock it. They're not going to want to do all that. If they had $300 to spend, I would definitely tell them to get the LePro 3. I mean, again, processing power, you know, everything. The only downside of this phone is this. After you get past this, and I posed the question on Google Plus, why not buy this over the OnePlus 3? It's $180 less, or it costs about, if you take away the sale, it's $40 less. And people said, oh, the UI is horrible. Well, you can skin that UI all you want, and root will be coming so you can take it off and put stock Android on there. Because people who buy the OnePlus 3 root. They're tinkerers. So with that being said, you know, I definitely recommend this phone, probably over several other phones. You just need to, and when I tell you I've never used their launcher, I haven't. You know, this is okay to deal with since I'm running Pixel Launcher. You know, the performance on here is just stupid good. It's unbelievable. So there's the competition there, or the comparison. ZTE ZMAXPRO didn't come out on top this time in my eyes, but still, it's a fantastic purchase. I like the phone, but again, things get good. You know, technology gets better and better every day. So I highly would recommend you guys pick up the LePro 3 if you're in the market and want to unlock phone. You can take it to any carrier. It's got band 12. There was in my initial video, I didn't know if it had band 12 or not, and people sure enough let me know that it had band 12. So this phone does have band 12, and this phone has band 12 for T-Mobile, that is, obviously. So definitely pick up either one of these phones. You won't go bad with it, your choice. But, you know, just kind of getting double everything over here. You got double the memory, double the RAM, the fastest processor. Processing, the camera is just gorgeous on here. And I'll pop those photos up. And I'll let you decide which one you think is better. But there you have it, man. It's your man, Jay Will. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for joining me. Take care.